Welcome back to Rollerset to Mindset, the podcast that's for women 50 and older who are ready to step boldly into their next life chapter, but there's some things that's holding them back. I'm Angela Fuller. I'm the go-to person for when 50 has knocked on your door, and the question that keeps you up at night is, what is next for me? Well, I'm here to answer that question, so let's dive in. Now, let's all take a deep breath. Now, let's be real. Let's be real. The subject we're talking about right now is fear. That's right. False evidence appearing real, as we have a tendency to say. So let's be real about it. Fear does not have an expiration date. Did you hear me? Fear doesn't have an expiration date. I had to remind myself of that. That just because I am 63 years old and some of you out here are 50, 60, or even 70, it doesn't mean that fear packs its bag, packs its thing up, and leave your door. That, or leave it our lives. That's not how it works. It shows up in new ways, ways that, that we don't even think about. It has a new game for us. And so when we think about starting over, that feeling that comes about when you think about starting over, that's fear. When you think about the idea of reinventing yourself, what happens? What do you feel? What does your nervous system go through? That's another way in which fear shows up. Chasing your dreams or even setting boundaries in relationships that's no longer serving you. We know that feeling that comes about when that happens. That's fear. But here is the truth. This is what I want you to hold on to. Courage doesn't expire either. Not even a little bit. And in this stage of our life, courage really matters now more than ever. Tell me if you agree. Put it in the chat if you agree that courage, when we turn 50, 60, 70, and beyond, courage, we have to understand fully that it doesn't have an expiration date. So in this episode, I'm going to share with you 3 powerful reasons why courage still is the key to your transformation, and what happens if you choose it, but also what happens if you don't. So let's go ahead and talk about this. This is what I want you to understand about courage. Courage unlocks action. So let's start with that. Because I'm going to give you 3 reasons, but let's start with that reason. The fact that courage is what unlocks action. Because fear has one assignment, y'all. One assignment. And let me tell you, it does its job really well. Fear's assignment is to keep you stuck. It is to keep you stuck. It's to keep you feeling safe. It's to keep you from moving. It keeps you bogged down in the mud. And let's be honest. If we are going to be honest with one another, we gotta admit that fear is very convincing. I mean, really, let's think about it. What are some of the things that fear tells you? I'll go first. Fear tells me, before it tells me, it asks me the question because it wants me to be a willing participant. So I'm going to ask you, write in the comments, what does fear tell you? What does it whisper to you? One thing it whispers is, what if you fail? What if you fail? What if people laugh? Does that sound familiar? What if people laugh? Another thing that sounds familiar, that might sound familiar to you. What if you lose everything? And in the process of losing everything, what if you look foolish? Come on now. But here's the flip side of that. Every single breakthrough If you were to be honest now, every single breakthrough you have ever came across, it's because you chose courage over fear. Come on now. You chose courage over fear. Think about it. Think about this. Maybe it was leaving a job you hated. It took courage to do that. What about moving to a new city? That took a lot of courage. Even though you were fearful, that took a lot of courage. Starting your business, or for me, starting a whole new life chapter, or even saying yes when you've been hurt, when you've been let down by love, even saying yes to love again. You didn't wait for the fear to leave. You acted anyway. The feeling of finally being able to get what you want it overrides the crippling effect that fear can have on us. And on the other side of that fear, what did you experience? Oh, you experienced a whole lot of things. But the main thing that you experienced was growth. And that's what it's all about. You experience growth. You experience freedom. You experience, probably for the first time in a long time, a brand new version of you. And that's what I want to get across to you. When you move with the fear, you gain a lot of stuff along the way and things that's going to serve you in that new version of you. But here's the danger that I have found, that I've heard women share with me, and that is this. When you let fear rule, you stay frozen. You stay frozen in time. You stay frozen in your thoughts. You tell yourself you start tomorrow. But guess what? Tomorrow turns into the next year, and then the next, and then the next, and then the next year become 5 years. How many of you can identify with that? Say me if that is you. The next year become 5 years. And then you look back and you realize fear wrote your story instead of you. And that is where we have to pump our brakes. We've got to start writing our own story, y'all. We cannot let fear, a 4-letter word, keep us from experiencing a 10-letter word, a 15-letter word. Keep us from experiencing the life that we deserve. So, let me pause right here. I'm going to pause right here and I'm going to ask you a question. What action are you delaying today in this moment because fear is running the show? I want you to write that down. What action are you delaying because fear is running your show? Be honest with yourself now. Be honest with yourself. And be honest so that you can help someone else. I'll write mine. I'll write mine if you write yours, okay? Now, this is the thing. Speak it out loud if you can't write it. Speak it out loud. Speak it out loud to yourself, because awareness is the first step. The second thing I want to address as far as fear goes and facing that fear so that courage can begin to rule, and that is this. The second you make a decision to move forward, it has a tendency to silence the fear. Courage silences your fear. It silences your inner critic. Because if we were being honest, we do our own stuff. We batch our own self. We criticize our own self more than anyone else. Yeah, we have that little voice inside of us that tells us what we can't do, who we can't be, what we can't have. But that voice doesn't have to be the loudest that you hear. We ask ourselves all the time, I'm guilty of it. Who do I think I am? There's nothing wrong with asking that question as long as you answer it in a positive, effective, powerful way. Even the question that comes up of, is it too late for me? The answer to that is absolutely not. You're just getting started. And sometimes that voice doesn't even sound like us. It sounds like a teacher who doubted us. It sounds like a friend who never believed in us, or the parent who never encouraged us. Come on now. We all have traumatic experience from our past that determines how we move in the present moment, or even society constantly telling us that women can't do this or can't do that. So we're going to begin today to stop that. We're going to begin today to silence that thought, because this is what I have learned. When you take one courageous action, you prove that your voice is wrong. You prove that that voice is wrong. If that voice is not positive, if that voice is not pushing you to move forward, just taking one courageous action, it proves that voice wrong. And every step you take becomes evidence that you are capable. You are more than capable. You are more than enough. And that you are worthy, y'all. Hear me, ladies. You are worthy. That you are still here for a reason. You are still the one. And when you don't speak to yourself in that way, guess what? The critic wins. The critic wins. That voice grows stronger. That voice grows louder. And it begins to run your life until your dreams are drowned out. And your dreams are overpowered by self-doubt. And that we're not doing self-doubt. If you're 50 and over, you're done with self-doubt. And let me tell you something. You are not too late. Don't let that be your excuse. You are not too late. As long as you have breath, it's not too late for you. So what would you attempt? Question for you. Write the answer in the conversation in the chat. What would you attempt if that voice wasn't there to tear you down? Write it. Be bold about it. Think outside the box. Think big. What would you attempt if that voice wasn't there to tear you down? Hold on to that thought. Hold on to that, because that is the seed. That is the seed that is going to blossom your next chapter. Your next chapter. Because courage inspires others. Courage inspires others. And if it could do it for someone else, then guess what? It can do it for you. So, the reason I say courage inspires others, because I want you to understand that this move you're trying to make, this move you're thinking about, this move you're attempting to make but not making, it's bigger than you. It's not just about you. It's bigger than you. And when you act with courage, you don't just change your life, you change somebody else's life too. And that's what it's all about. Because as light as you take it, someone took action, someone took courageous action, and it changed your life. So now it's time for you, my dear. It's time for you, my sister, to pay it forward. You know, think about your children, think about your grandchildren, think about your friends, and think about your coworkers. Think about your community. They're all watching you. They are all watching you. And think about how many times that you have been inspired just by watching another woman walk boldly into her purpose. Just the other day, I witnessed that. I went to a summit and I watched hundreds of other women walking into their purpose, and it inspired me. And because I was inspired by them, I said to myself, I'm going to come back home. I'm going to go back home and I'm going to create a podcast, an episode, and it is my hope, it is my prayer that it inspires another person. And I'm hoping that this is what this podcast is doing for you. I want my courage to give you permission to dream bigger, because I know there's so many dreams in you. That is the power I want you to understand. That is the power that you carry. Don't sit on it. When you choose courage, you model possibilities. You model it. And you show the next generation that 50, 60, 70, it's not the end. It's really a powerful new beginning. And I don't want you to forget that. But when you don't do it, when you don't embody that, you unintentionally, hear me now, you unintentionally model the opposite. You show those around you that it's normal to shrink, that it's normal to doubt yourself, that it's normal to settle, that it's normal, that it is normal to play small. It even hurts me to say that sentence, that it is normal to play small, because it's not. And we're not buying into that in 2025, ladies. That's not the legacy you want to leave. And if I've got anything to do with it, it's not the legacy you are going to leave. You were born to be an example of what's possible, not a warning of what happens when fear wins. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. So here's the vision. I always got a vision for you. Here's the vision I want you to hold on to. Listen in. Come closer. If come back to me if you drifted off. Imagine yourself 6 months from now. 6 months. You got plenty of time. 6 months. No longer paralyzed by fear. No. The grip the grip that it had on you has been loosed. You're no longer paralyzed by fear, but you are walking boldly in your next chapter. Imagine people looking at you and saying, wow, look at what she did. If she can do it, I can do it. Imagine the pride you're going to feel when you hear it, when someone shares that with you, when you realize that fear no longer has the final say in your story. Imagine that. That is what courage makes possible. That is what courage makes possible for you. So now here's the reflection that I want you to make today in this moment. What would I do if fear wasn't standing in my way? I want you to journal that. I want you to take time and think about that, and I want you to write that down. And then I want you to commit to one small, courageous action. One small step, just one, y'all. Because courage grows when you use it. Courage grows when you use it. Don't forget that. I know my goal was to drive that thing home for you. Courage grows when you use it. And if this episode spoke that to you, don't just keep it to yourself. Don't be selfish. Don't gatekeep it. Share it out with someone. And if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe to the channel so you get all my episodes and you can binge it when you're ready. Courage matters at 50 and beyond because it unlocks your next chapter. And then your next chapter, and then your next chapter. Because all of your chapters, it's waiting for you. Matter of fact, it's already been written. It's just waiting for you. You are the main character in it. So until next time, I want you to keep choosing courage. Be the strong, courageous person that you are. It's okay. Keep walking forward. Keep dreaming. Keep striving. And think big. And remember, you are made to fly, sis. You were made to fly as high as an eagle. I'll talk with you soon. Okay?